Welcome back to my channel, Overcomers. I am Yvonne Bentley, faith coach, helping others to change their mind so that they could begin to see their world change around them. So, overcoming the battle is all about us as a community, Black people, changing our minds so that we can begin to see our world change around us. It's about the fact that our ancestors were in literal chains, but it's us today, the descendants, who still battle with it being around our minds. So this movement is based from Proverbs 23:7. For whatever a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So this is a faith over fear movement, and us really getting to the root and seeing the things of fear and bondage, where it started from, to have the faith to deal so we can heal and move forward. And I'm super excited to be doing this video today with this beautiful young lady. I'm gonna let her go ahead and introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Sullivan, and I am a natural hairstylist, and I am a product maker, entrepreneur here in Greenville, South Carolina. And I'm just glad to be here with my friend. We go way back, actually, since elementary, actually.
Yeah,
so,
way
and
back.
I'm just very proud of her journey that she's been on, and we always have a great conversation and topic about things that we feel like need to be discussed in the Black community. And this is in no way, shape, or form to, tear anybody down or make anyone feel uncomfortable, but a lot of times change happens in those uncomfortable moments. So I'm here for it.
Absolutely. And so Natalie has a phenomenal hairline. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, comment, like. I'm going to link it in the description box. Let me tell y'all, I've seen her journey too.
Yeah.
and when it comes to hair, y'all, I'm telling y'all, ladies, especially if you try to figure out how do I get my natural hair to grow, she has some phenomenal products. So they will be in the description box. Y'all go ahead and make sure you get a hold of those products. So today we are talking about why Black men don't marry in our community. So this conversation started, it was about maybe 2 months ago. Me and Natalie was having this conversation as she was doing my hair. And so we want to get to the root in regards to some things that we see. We want y'all to chime in, whether you agree or disagree, but we definitely want to hear from you. So you want to kind of start off, like, just to share about what we were talking about?
I guess, yeah. So yeah, we were talking about Black men, and like I said, this is no not a forum to kind of downgrade Black men, but yeah, in my journey, yeah, I have definitely started to see more Black men who are uncommitted and say that they don't want to commit to just women in general, but they do commit to us, like, behind closed doors. It's very performative based. Basically, when you're having sex with them, or we come together for this commonality of discussion and talking. A lot of it too is just someone to have fun with, but then there is this underlying, I feel like, enmity between the Black woman and the Black men, that the Black man that has been there for, I would say, centuries, since slavery. And we kind of those things that have gone on in slavery set the precedent for how we think, for how we behave, and how we interact with one another until this day. So is there anything that you want to say on that?
No, I think that's good. I think one of the things that Natalie was talking about, and so here's the thing we got to understand. We all know what happened in slavery, right?
Absolutely.
We all know that it's still affecting us today as a people.
Absolutely.
But I'm so big on us understanding that we have to take accountability to change our mind and come together and deal so we can heal as far as moving forward.
Yeah.
So when me and Natalie was talking about this, one thing was brought out was how the slave masters raped our ancestors. And so how, they did not want them as a human being who they are, but when it comes to their body, the rape started from a lust and perversion seed, right? And so our Black men today, it's like they've adopted it, right? So that's where the slavery mentality come in it. So it's like, I can have sex with you, I can have children with you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this commitment,
yeah.
to me marrying,
no.
and it's like, it's so much fear in that.
Mm-hmm.
And some other things, how the black family was destroyed, pulled away. And it's about us looking at these things and saying, you know what? This comes from what happened in slavery, but how do we see this, that this is where it comes from, to change what's happening? So that the men, what else were we talking about as far as like, just how the slave masters didn't value them. It's
Correct.
like black men, when you don't marry the black woman, but you can sit up there and have babies with her, it's like you don't value her, to think that
Right.
she's, good enough to be a wife,
Right.
good enough to grow, to build and be all of the structure of a family is supposed to be, with that commitment of marriage.
Right. And because within that family unit, everything has deteriorated, because they know that family and togetherness, creates, generational wealth. It creates that, not even just generational health, it creates stable offspring, stable children, a healthy lifestyle, so there has been so much devaluing of ourselves and of each other, especially when we get in these not committed, but in these relationships with each other, that we just don't want to move forward with one another, because there is so much trauma. There's so much trauma within the body, and when there's trauma within the body, on a spiritual level also, there is a code that's written within your body. A lot of times when things happen, there's a genetic code that's written in your body, and you don't know why you're behaving this way, but at a cellular level, you're behaving this way because of what was written within yourself genetically. The body remembers everything, even if you don't remember anything mentally. Your body remembers. So a lot of things that are passed down generationally, and curses and word curses and behavioral patterns, is a genetic code that we have and that we've embodied. So that is something that we have to kind of also look at, and why we behave with one another with that inner hatred. Sometimes it's not really prevalent. You may not want to admit it, but once you get to a certain age and you start to kind of wake up, and that's what this is. This is kind of a nudge for people to see. We live here in the South, where a lot of black men, when they see black women, our relationships, like I was saying, is more performative based. It's more based, like in the bedroom, we are submissive to one another, because there's an exchange. There's something that we both want from one another. We have such high sexual energy. And that's another thing that I see within our black men. You have to become who are undisciplined and unknowing in their sexual energy, and they just kind of just throw it away and give it away. So it's all about emerging and with yourself, and really knowing yourself, knowing your power. Even with the women, we need to know who we are, whose we are, and where we're going. And if we don't know our history, we cannot move forward.
Absolutely. And so that's exactly what it's about. Confronting the things. Let me grab.
Yeah, you don't mind. Oh, it ain't nobody.
Let me hit
Don't
it.
worry about it. No.
Okay. So, and that's what it's about. It's about us being honest and saying, you know what, our history is controlling a lot of what we do today.
Absolutely.
And so, I truly believe that when our black men don't know who they are, they're really you're prodigal sons who don't know that you're kings, okay? Because when we think about it, a king he wants a queen, he takes her as his wife, and they know the structure and the understanding of the power that they are together. And as you were speaking as far as black women, and so many of us black women, I'm pro-black, okay? So I truly believe in being with a black man and us healing together and building, as far as a people. But here's the thing, even as women, we got to take accountability. We have to be able to know our worth and our identity, to say, you know what? I can't continue to be with you when I know that I want to be your wife.
Correct.
When I know I'm doing these wife duties.
That's right.
You want me to treat you like a husband,
right,
but you don't want to be my husband. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think that conversations like this is what we have to continue to have. Like, if, just being honest, black man, black woman, if y'all are in this relationship right now, sit down and talk. Yeah, we have to have these conversations to understand if she's saying, look, I want to marry you. I want you to be my husband. I want to be your wife. But he's on the fence. You know, what's the issue of that commitment?
Well, too, there's also like a root of bitterness, a root of hurt.
Yeah.
Because we perpetuate what we know and what we've seen.
Absolutely.
So within a lot of the black family structures, there has been a lot of trauma that has happened. So a lot of times children or kids grow up, or men grow up, and they feel like, well, I don't want to commit to this person because women have already caused me enough trauma in my life growing up. Yeah. So I don't really see the value in a black woman because my mother wasn't the type of black woman that I would be accustomed to having. Or they could be, love their mothers, and they always love their mothers, but there is a root of bitterness there that kind of correlates and spills into all of their relationships with black women.
That's good. That is so true, because just to be honest, I think about conversations that I've had with black men that I know that are hurt by their mothers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have issues and will not commit.
Right.
And so
they don't at all.
It's a lot of them where, when I tell you, look, it's, so it's a lot of them where it's as if, like you said, I cannot trust a woman.
Yeah. Because
the woman that gave birth to me was the one that hurt me. So how can I trust a woman if the one that brought me into this world, did whatever? So, and that's where it comes to healing. And I can say personally for somebody who, with my dad, I had, was hurt for the longest.
Right, women too.
And yeah, women too. And we have to understand that our parents only gave us what they knew.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes back, and understanding why we got to confront history and why we have this structure that we have as far as the black family and how we operate and how we speak to one another. And when we really look back, we will see how the chains, the mental slavery is so real. Absolutely. And that's why we do these things today. But we have to confront them to overcome them.
Right.
We have to.
We do. Yeah, and just like you were saying about the father wound, the mother and the father wound, if you grew up in an abusive household, this happens also in white families, but it's more so prevalent in black communities because we have such a deep and rich history of a psychological damage that was done to us, in slavery, because if we look at the civilizations of Africa and how they, relate to one another, I'm not saying it's all peaches and cream, but it's more togetherness. It's more of a unity there in Africa. It's more of a wholeness. They know who they are. They know who they are, and they represent that very well. Most of all cultures that aren't in America, they represent their culture well. We are the only race of people here in America that countryless, I would say. Yeah. Even though we live here, a lot of us feel like we're not really a part of this place because we don't have the a community where we feel like we can be expressive and completely be who we are, know who we are within that culture to express that in a confident manner. So we do a lot of things that are contrary to what we actually and who we are in life because of the trauma, and a lot of it is just ignorance because we really need to kind of wake up to ourselves and to our power and our individuality as a people.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, what one black person does, we're not a monolith, you know what I'm saying? One person might represent us in the media, and so certain people think, oh, well, that's how all of them behave, that's how all of them react. I think that women in our communities, like we were talking about earlier, like, talking about the black church and how, that is a prominent figure in our lives and how we were raised,
Absolutely.
And a lot of times that also had, turned into something that, just kind of, I would say, scathed the surface. Like, it really wasn't anything that we got in depth about, because there was still things even happening within the church that people just looked over or didn't discuss. So then again, we're going to church, we're trying to get the enlightenment, but there's still darkness within that enlightenment. They're not really touching on those true core issues. We're just talking about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But we really need to be talking also about self and accountability. And hey, don't go over this man's house, little girl. Don't go do this. You know, you have people who are molesting. The preacher probably is molesting the girls in the church or having babies in the church. But yet, this is something that's very prevalent in the black community that we don't address. Everything has to be slipped under the rug. Oh, and for women, for black women, we just have to be good Christian girls. Instead of giving us the tools, giving us the proper tools, and really telling us and really letting us know, hey, this isn't right, or that isn't right. This is the direction that you should go, and that's the direction. So we as women also have been a bit pacified, because, I mean, we can go back to slavery with that. We were looked at as very as sexual objects. You know, we were raped. You know, our bodies are very voluptuous, very curvy. And to this day, we are like, you know, sex symbols. And people look at black women with no value, no worth.
Yeah.
You know, you had sex with us, you fucked us, you just threw us away. You know, we had kids, you took our kids away from us. So we may look at the white man as more, I would say, valuable. And then the white woman, the black man, looks at her as desirable because she was somebody that they couldn't have. You know?
Right.
So it is they kind of fetishized each other, one another in a way.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like, you know, the black man has adopted that. It's just a fetish. You know, regardless of how many times you say you love her, love is really an action word. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true.
So, if you want to be the provider and pay bills and take care of all that kind of stuff, but it's just like this commitment as far as being one, you know, the two become one.
Right.
So it's about us black men. You have to ask yourself this question: why won't I marry her? Right. I got 5 kids. I got a couple of kids with her.
Yeah, you got all these
Why
kids.
won't I marry her? But we can continue to have babies.
Right.
And black women, we got to step up.
Yeah.
To know our worth as far as saying, you know what? I deserve more than this. So it's so much healing in the black woman,
absolutely,
and the black man, and to bring that family structure so that we can be who the Most High created us to be. Like, we are so powerful, but we are such a people lost in our identity.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. The black woman is very powerful. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know, black women are strong, because everybody knows our strength. Everybody knows our strength. And so within that strength sometimes that we have, it's sometimes to our detriment, because we have to learn how to balance the strength. We are sometimes so much in our masculine energy and sometimes that's not our fault, because just innately we are strong, we are courageous, we are the backbones of communities, and genetically we are the portals. So we birth any race of being within us. So that is something to be respected. And until I feel like black men come to their power and we come and harness our power and stop just giving ourselves to each other in a way that's not very responsible, we will always be in a perpetual cycle of, I would say, hatred or envy of one another, and we just won't be able to come together because we don't have that cohesion. You know, it's a repelling of one another. And unfortunately, it's been because we were trained to not see the value in one another. We were trained to see that when I see a buck walking down the road with massa, I better not speak to my brother right there. I better hold my head down. Or I want to be so good with this person, this white person, because you have your slave owner, you're with them, that, you know, they have to go tell on their brothers and sisters, just so that they can feel like they're a part of something, that they're doing something good by bashing and talking down to one another. I mean, it is a rich psychological history of damage that was written and done to us. So over time, over generations and generations in which we've been living, now it's time to rewrite those wrongs, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, but I do feel like we're in a moment of awakening and enlightening, because there's so much information that's coming out. And, you know, like I was saying, we're in the age of Aquarius, which is nothing but information. So, and it's all about your inner power within the age of Aquarius. So when you get in tune and in touch with that inner power, and you start to notice and you start to see the schemes and the tricks of society and what they've done to kind of keep you from your destiny, yeah, you know, I would become a little angry. And but at the end of it, knowledge is key. Knowledge is power.
Good. You got anything else? I think this was good.
What else?
We got 21 minutes. So.
I think that was good. I think we'll come to part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. But we need for y'all to respond. We want to hear y'all feedback, so that we can come to part 2. So whatever y'all have to say, men, whatever your rebuttals are, you know, it may be some, but I won't marry her because of this.
Exactly. But you know, I don't want to hear that shit. I'd be like, you know, it's like sometimes people, and I know a lot of black men are going to be triggered by this because they feel like we're so bitter. They feel like we are so, I don't fool with them, you know. They just hate it. They just, you know, and some black women do. So, and those women that do, I would say that they just need to become more in tune with yourself and your power, because nobody can be you.
Yeah.
Nobody can be you. We are such a unique race of people. We are such a unique race of women. And I think that a lot of times people need to also question why they have the preference that they have.
Yeah. That's good. That's something we need to dive into more. But thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching. Remember, go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out Natalie products.
SisterlyLoveNatural.com.
Check the description box. And also, if you guys, as far as women, I'm launching some things as far as new coaching course, accepting some new clients. Visit YvoreBentley.com. So all of that will be in the description box. And y'all go ahead and comment, because we want to hear y'all feedback. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.